True. Do we have a quick executive session? No.
What's that?
Do we have a quick?
That is what it
executive
says
session?
on our agenda, is executive session first. Although you could opt to approve the minutes and the warrants first if you wanted to.
Okay.
You get to take things out of order as you choose. I'm not sure if you guys know what executive session means, that means that it's just us and you guys have to go out.
We have a quick executive session. You guys ready to brave the almost cold outside? I'll be really fast.
We'll do what we can.
Okay, so we're gonna go into.
You're really soft spoken. I'm really.
I am really soft spoken. Me?
Well, not now. So do you want us to leave?
So I need you to leave just for.
Yes, sir. Just for.
You need to make a motion.
Everybody.
You need to make a motion in public.
So I make a motion that we get into executive session and we will,
So executive session, pursuant to MRSA.
chapter
Chapter one,
13, section
chapter one, section
405, 6,
one,
at tax abatement.
Not that one. Well, you guys can say.
Oh. No, who they were.
Well,
So
that's right.
sorry.
So
Was there a
so more than
second?
half the
I
folks.
second it.
Here for the. It's set up front, for heaven's sake.
I am so sorry, but welcome back. Welcome back.
Needed the exercise.
I didn't know, maybe it was like a split thing. and you
No,
guys had a
no,
meeting
not
and
at all.
then we back in.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am, but then again, we're left to guess as to why certain individuals.
Are they back or they forget it?
We made a, Leanne, we made a motion and I have it all written down for you for later. Regarding the abatement.
We need a motion to exit executive session.
Yes,
We already did that.
In public.
yes, well,
In public,
Who made the motion?
well, we couldn't find half, I did,
Who second?
Kathy.
Me.
So any decisions have to be made in public. You can just mention map and lot if you want.
we can what?
You don't have to mention name.
All right,
Yeah,
so,
a decision,
yeah, I made a motion to abate 3,000 for that group. And the balance to be paid in a payment plan, which they'll contact you and set an amount.
So you're, say it again, you're abating,
3,000.
3,000.
okay. Okay, and there was a second,
Kathy and secondly.
And
And
it was
all
all
in favor,
agreed.
three.
okay.
Let's look at the minutes for November 2nd. Have you young ladies had a chance to look at them?
Yeah, I did.
Ladies.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve those minutes for November 2nd.
Oh, second it.
Alrighty, all in favor?
There you go.
Next, I'd like to approve the warrant 10 and payroll warrants for November 8th and November 15th, which we've already signed. Do I have a second on that? All good?
I second it.
All in favor? We're gonna review reports. Do we have anything for RSU 10?
Can't keep it together, can you?
Anyone have any information from the school system?
I attended the school board meeting the other night.
You did.
You did.
Like to share?
I did, sure. I showed up and I doubled the number of community members when I showed up, because there was only one other community member there, and that was Jerry Wiley, who formerly of the school board. Our school board representative is there, but And so is Buckfields. Sumner still doesn't have a school board representative, and there were some other ones there that I don't recognize because I don't know all the ones from the
Rumpin.
northern region. But, yeah, it was a pretty quiet meeting. Trying to think if there was any major decisions made. Some people made a presentation about, supporting kids through,
The Wilson shooting.
yeah, just through, difficult times. I guess they weren't specific about the Lewiston shooting, but.
Yeah.
Today is, so it wasn't too much to tell about. I was actually close to disappointing. I was expecting there'd be somebody there hollering a controversy or something. You want to put your date on them?
No, I didn't see it.
Well, good. I mean, that was good.
Yeah, it was not so bad.
We'd like to move forward to the road report. Do we have anything from BIM?
No, said nothing's been done this past couple weeks.
Oh, and is Jeff Stern here? Hey, how wonderful. So Jeff's gonna talk about grants, if we have a copy of the email that you sent Leanne, which kind of talks about what you'd like to move forward with. Do you wanna stand up and talk about that?
Well, I'll just dive right into it, I guess.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Stern, with the Onondaga River Watershed Council. And, of course, we all know Judy Hamilton,
Mhm.
Yes, we do.
longtime Hartford resident. So let's get organized here. First of all, I want to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak to you tonight. And also, I actually want to thank the town of Hartford for your past support of the grants. I think Kathy and Lee and Leanne probably really know that we did a lot of great cost sharing work with the town of Hartford in this last go-round, this last grant that we had to spend this past summer. And I worked with Billy quite a bit, and we made a pretty good team. We worked together on fixing erosion from a couple of road sites on Bottom Road and Darrington Road. And I'll back up a little bit, and I know you guys probably all pretty much know this, but I'll say it anyway. The reason why erosion is such a concern for our lakes is if you have too much sediment washing off the surrounding landscape into a lake, it kind of feeds the algae, and it can turn a blue lake into a green, slimy kind of a mess. And in fact, Lake Anasagunica has had a couple of close calls. They've had a couple of algae blooms actually of short duration in some of the coves, things like that. But you know what? So it's kind of like right on the edge. And what we're trying to do is just keep it from getting any worse and improve the water quality actually. Because what happens is if a lake turns that kind of green, slimy, algae choked situation, it becomes, well, it obviously not only ruins water quality and fishery habitat and wildlife habitat and everything like that, but also studies have been done that show that for every incremental decrease in water clarity, which will happen if you get a lot of algae growth, that for every incremental decrease, you'll get a corresponding decrease in property values. And that's not just shoreline property values we're talking about. I mean, it starts there, but it has kind of a ripple effect through an entire town. So that's what's at stake. That's what we're trying to avoid. So the Lake Association has talked about applying for another grant. These grants are due usually in the springtime. So this one won't be due probably until sometime in May 2024. But they take a lot of time to put together. And I guess the reason I'm appearing before you tonight is to just kind of start the process. I know you're beginning to go through the budgeting process right now, and I just want to get us in there and talk to you about maybe perhaps pledging some more match, because the way these grants work is, they don't just give you the money, if they ever did. But, there has to be a certain amount of local match rates. That's from,
Right.
say, road associations, towns.
Right, it's gotta be local buy-in.
Yeah, right, private landowners, things like that. So that's where the town of Hartford's match really comes in handy. Now, Bim and I have been talking a little bit, like I said, we worked really well and did some projects for this last grant. And actually, Kathy knows because we had to apply for permits from the Army Corps of Engineers, which was kind of a chore, but we did it. We did what needed to be done. We did some really good work on Darrington and Gauding roads, but so this past grant that just got done addressed most of the big, I would say, erosion issues in the watershed, but there's still some that remain, and we're hoping to take some of those on this time. I have talked with them a little bit, and there are some sites up on Davenport Road actually that he thinks are erosion concerns. I haven't really looked at those yet in depth, but I want to get up there and take a look. And of course, there's still some sites on Gauding Road. Want to do some culvert repair work up there by Sparrow Cemetery. There may be other sites as well. But so anyway, this grant, what we'd be applying for would be a pot of money. It's actually federal money, but it's administered by the state of Maine. And we'd be applying to them for a grant. It's called a 319 grant. Because it comes from section 319 of the Clean Water Act. And anyway, like I said, I wanted to talk to you guys because I know you're getting started on the budgeting process. And what I'd like to see the town do is, like you did in the previous grant, is pledge a certain amount of match. Last time the town pledged $10,000.
Yeah, 8,000 in cash and 2,000 in kind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it worked out that way. It was probably ended up being a lot more in kind, less cash, but whatever got us to the $10,000 mark really is.
Yeah, I seem to remember us
It's wrong.
actually setting aside $10,000 specific for that.
It might be. And I was trying to remember if that money came from BIM's road budget or
You
where
know,
that came from.
I think it did.
I think that's what it's
So I
like.
think so too.
Well,
At least that's what I kind of remember.
That's kind of how I'm remembering it. What do you
You
think,
did.
Leanne?
I don't know.
That's what it says here.
It doesn't, it's not right, but maybe.
Well,
Well,
Yeah,
because it was road money.
So at this
Well-
point, do you know how much the project might go for? It you have still have to evaluate Darrington, Gauding, and Davenport roads to
well,
see what work
but-
needs to be done.
I
Notice
want to
the,
back up a little.
notice the
Okay.
the words
That's a good
here.
point. What these grants allow us to do is share the
Oh,
cost
okay.
of some erosion problems with whoever the partner is, be it the town or private road association, somebody like that. And so I was looking through my records and what the grant paid, we did for this past grant. We fixed, there was a culvert crossing right there on Darrington Road, right before the intersection with Gauding Road. And actually on that same road, over on the Gauding Road side of things, we worked on that, fixing that as well. And we also did some work, a big project up there on, further up on Darrington Road, about 10th of a mile past Gauding Road. And also then did some great work on the shoulder leading down to the brook crossing there, right across from the Sparrow Cemetery. So anyway, I was adding up all the match and all the grant expenses for that. And what it comes down to is the grant reimbursed the town $14,500. Versus what the town put in, and I've got those figures here. It was more than 14,500, and that might not seem a lot, that the grant reimbursed the town, but Bim found it pretty valuable to extend his budget.
I don't remember getting that much. I think we got like 4,200 or something.
Well, you should have gotten $4,500 this last round, because that was waiting until I finished the paperwork for the grant.
All right.
But you got the $10,000 for the initial project, the 2021 project. So it does come out to 14,500. So in a nutshell, that's really what it's
Well,
all
we're
about.
getting, And Bim's happy because we're getting the jobs done.
Yeah, I
And
mean.
the main thing is, the main thing for us is getting the jobs done, because if we're doing the jobs by ourselves, we'd be paying that much out anyhow.
The way these grants work the best really is, if the town has identified something that they want to take care of, like BIM had identified these sites on Darrington and Godwin roads, right? So the town has identified it. From our perspective, they are erosion problems into the lake, so everybody's happy.
So we go,
And that's the way they work.
right, that's what, sure, shovel ready, as they say.
Yeah, so, yes, right, so, you know, like I said, Bim and I were kind of brainstorming the other day, and, he was talking about some sites up on Davenport Road I want to take a look at. I know he's got some more work on Godding Road that he would like to see done. So, you know, I think we could make something happen. Hopefully the town would get behind another grant. And again, I just want to say thanks. We did excellent work, we, the town and the watershed council and the lake association. We all came together and did some great work to protect the lake and cut down erosion, and hopefully we can do it again.
Do you have any idea when you think you'll know how much you're gonna be applying for and what the minimum requirement for the match will be?
What I want to do is, I want to take a look at some of these sites that BIM has
Targeted,
identified, and I want to take a look at them too, and maybe get together with him. Last time we talked a bunch, and we even looked at the sites. We did kind of a tour, as it were, and to figure out what's there and what are the costs of fixing these and what needs to be done, because that kind of depends too. I mean, up on Davenport, I mean, the only time I've been up to Davenport was it looked like some newer culverts had been installed, so maybe you wouldn't be looking at doing culvert replacements, but some road work, maybe some ditch reshaping, things like that. So there's going to be different costs. So I want to find out what's involved in that, in these projects that he's thinking of. I guess that would be the first step. So that's pretty vague to realize at this point.
And we don't actually,
That's
and we're not on the same timeline as the county. So, we don't actually start really crunching numbers out until after the first of the year. So that gives a little time to figure that part out.
It's just that I sent out an email, because our deadline has always been the December 31st for
Right.
budget requests. But we are.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
you know, that gives us, we still have a little time left.
Moving in the right direction, that's all.
Yeah.
I said December 31st, and I said after the first of the year, but that still gives us a little, you know, I mean,
And we'll be getting a request
That's
from the
only-
Lake Association.
only one day
correct?
different.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
No, that was,
I know, it's, things get crazy.
in the Lake Association is in the process of actually growing and trying to define who does what better, and that was the problem, that it's so hard.
What is the
Keeps
president now?
thinking that somebody else has done it.
Yeah,
No, I know that Tim Kerwin is no longer
He's not on the board.
He's not on the-
He's no longer on the board.
he's not even on the board at all?
No,
Okay,
no.
well, who is the president now?
The president's Michael Plesky. He's actually a Canton seasonal. Pete McCluskey's brother.
Yeah, Pete McCluskey is the one that lives next door to Pete McCluskey is the one who's right next door
Next year to Tim.
Tim's place, yeah.
Down, he got the houses down, and Mike is across the lake, you know, so,
Yeah, okay.
but they're both long time, probably.
Ken,
Yeah, Jeff, I know a couple places that had some erosion that will be going into the lake, and one of them is right on 140, but you're probably not asking for a grant because it's a state road. It's right down by that little beach area. There's a whole.
Oh, would you-
Right into the lake.
Yes,
Yes,
And they did do work on this last grant, did work on that, so let us know if you see.
well, last spring, it all washed right
Yes.
out.
the work's been done.
Well, actually, you know, as part of this, the one that just said that he did work with, DOT on a number of sites, and the big one, from my perspective, they fixed was, they were just past. What's the name of that?
Pinewood, yeah.
But that's what, Kim's talking about, the same spot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you were-
I've seen that whole wash.
Money here.
That-
No, I mean, in other.
I've been pleased, yeah,
I've seen.
I have so much
The
work.
whole thing.
The last
right
one.
against the street.
Yeah, another place that I
Yeah,
noticed
beach
right
road.
in front
Hmm?
of Maple
Don't
Grove
let them back
Cemetery,
up.
the ditch washed out, it was right down in the brook.
All summer long, I'll spend.
And across Church Street goes into the lake.
That is the nature of it.
Cemetery that's on Church Street.
Oh,
Into Sparrow. That's where Kim's on.
that's really good.
No, that's on the south end of the cemetery, the whole ditch is washed out, and then you can see the gravel washed down into the woods, into the brook.
Yeah, yeah.
So that might be something that.
Into Thompson.
Into Thompson Brook, yeah.
The Thompson Brook Road.
Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to say was, the site that we didn't work with DOT, this was, it's just past, is it Starbird Lane, Star something, Lane, on Route 140 as we're heading towards, well, towards Hartford, towards the village here. There was an old culvert crossing there.
And they replaced the culvert.
But then we placed the culvert and did a bunch of cleaning and mulching on it, like, oh, that's good.
Must be that big culvert.
That's what they closed the road for this past summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just a couple places I know, so.
Yeah, I know.
And it's really interesting.
You see, it's are any of them going hard or they can
Carrying.
That's what we're.
It's a bit about the day rain. It's still washed.
Yeah, yeah. You know, they did, the Lake Association has spearheaded a watershed survey, in 2019. I'm not sure if that site was on it though.
I don't think it was, the one that we.
Right. Right. So there's still work to be done, I mean, there always is, but, like I said, we got a lot of the major problems this past go around, but, there's still some stuff out there that remains to be done, for sure.
Always is.
Well, we appreciate all your hard work and we want to be a team member, so. As soon as you and Ben and maybe Ken get together and look at those spots and get. Some numbers, we can put them into the budget or talk about it and. See what we're gonna match.
What is due in December, is that specific dollar amounts that you're asking for? You have to be that specific, not just that we have this and we're working, you won't have it by the time you guys meet in February.
We like numbers in December, because I have to get a sheet together
Okay.
for them, for the budget meetings.
I mean, we don't usually start meeting until the month of March,
Yeah.
budget
March
committee.
is what I remember the budget committee.
but that said, the book has to be ready
And
in time, so.
so it would be better if you don't know the exact amount to go high, and come to the budget committee in February, March and say we only want this amount instead of the higher amount. I mean, just to make sure that.
Fair enough, and
Cover-
budget
cover your
committees can, you know,
bills.
and budget committees can say, well, that's more than we're willing to go. And so,
And so good time.
But just as an idea as to how to work on the numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
Good job.
because the budget numbers in the end, as she was just mentioning, all have to go to town meeting eventually,
Right.
and
Right.
then it's up to the townspeople. So,
So Liam, just to make sure I'm clear on this, what do you need by the end of December from us?
I like to have a number to put into my book for them and the budget committee.
Okay. All right, well, that's really all that I had.
Great, well, thank you.
Just wanted to put that out there.
We appreciate you making time. I know you couldn't make it to last meeting, so it's good to have you here face to face.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to be here.
Next we have the constable report. Quiet is good. Do we have anything from code enforcement? We don't, because we did at the beginning of the month. I do want to say that, I did a drive down, Town Farm Road today. I had a couple of concerned calls. And there's a new old, mobile home trailer that has been
See you, Jeff.
parked on the side of Town Farm Road.
Yep, see ya.
And I took a picture and sent it to Scott and said, have they applied for a permit for this? And this is an old trailer.
Thanks for coming.
So
Thank you very much.
Scott Mills is gonna look into that. Like,
Where is this?
on Town Farm Road.
It's a long road.
Mhm.
Where
Yep,
on Town
it's,
Farm?
no, you know where if you're going from, 140 up, like from the Sumner side,
Mhm.
there's gravel pits on the left that, Rodney has got some stuff in.
Yes, I
Um,
don't know that the grass.
so, but it's probably about 200 yards up the road on the right-hand side, there's a new old trailer that's just been dropped and.
Did
it's been
Rodney buy
cleared.
some land up
On
there?
the right,
And it could be. It could
I've
be.
heard
We
he
don't
bought-
know.
it
I
sure
heard-
sounds like, it does sound like one of his projects.
I just heard he bought 70 acres up there.
Oh, great. So whatever the case, it looks like it's going to be attached. It's put into a lot to become like a house lot, but I'm pretty sure we need permits.
That's correct.
And here's the
I
road,
think that's in tree.
and it's been placed and it's leveled or trying to be leveled.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
Scott didn't know it
a,
was there, and
that is a building permit situation.
so I let Scott know, and he's gonna take it from here.
Great,
Okay,
thanks for that.
I went and checked out that individual on 219
yep,
the other day. But I didn't get no answer. I don't know whether he's home or
We're
not.
talking about the
But-
health officer
Mhm,
concern.
Yep. And someone said he don't come around until after 4. So I was gonna try to get up there late this afternoon, but I
So
didn't
is he
make it.
working or?
I don't think so. I heard he don't get up to about 4, so.
oh, he doesn't get up till 4. I saw an old mattress that they dragged out to the road the other day, and it's gone. I don't know who took it, but. yeah, that's a good sign, because. Probably having a different mattress is good for
Well,
him.
yes, so I just say not get into discussing this
All right,
stuff.
ACO report, we got that the last meeting,
We will look for more from the health officer who will let us know.
is there anything from the planning board tonight? Did anyone attend that meeting? Leanne,
They approved the subdivision, I know that.
Yeah, we know that they approved.
what about the letters from the fire and the road
Um,
commissioner? Did they
there
address those
were,
concerns?
The applicant did.
the applicant had answers for all of these concerns, which I'll be honest with you, I sat through the whole meeting and I was not particularly satisfied. But, you know, the planning board nonetheless decided to approve the subdivision. And, you know, my personal feeling was that we kind of had the wool pulled over our collective eyes around that whole thing. I remember hearing Kathy say, oh, it's not a subdivision. And I said, oh, yes, it is, just mark my words, and sure enough, it is. You know, there was some discussion about whether the road should be paved, and that was sort of poo-pooed, and you know, it is what it is.
They did agree to require the, like, apron of the driveway to be paved from 219, a small one.
So, but they had answers in writing for all the others
From,
Yes, they did. I
trash
wish-
and
I
the
wish I had-
landowners and.
The
from
trash
Holmes
thing is by
Road.
no means settled. They said that they're gonna have something up by the road.
That's what he
Like a
told me
dumpster
too.
by the road, which I think that they're gonna find out that having a dumpster right there on 219 is a fine way to offer trash removal service to anyone who passes. Oh, yes, it is. I don't think they recognize that.
That end or whatever. You know,
Oh, well, yeah, but my road is not something that people pass every day all the
That
time.
was my point, you're gonna install the stop, extra stop. And
You know, things been pretty under control just lately, but every now and again we get quite a little collection
I
from
don't know if
somewhere.
it's gonna be a dumpster. Did he mention dumpster that day? I thought he mentioned a
Because
box
he
or
had-
something.
right, he had said
Yeah.
a contained area when we went.
Yeah, maybe they're gonna expect people to drag their trash cans up there, but well, we will see.
They're gonna put it in something when they get there, could be,
Well, we'll see.
yeah.
Separate question, so the selectmen don't, do you guys get the? Once they approve that, you guys don't have a say or name?
No. Not that I know of. Word of the planning board is final as far as I know. But we used to have a planning board that had some real teeth for things like this, and we do not currently.
We change it?
Well, we do have an
On
open
the
seat.
committee.
We do have an open seat. Kathy, hold still on this. I got it.
We do have an open seat.
Sorry about that.
We
Yes,
do
we
have
do
an
have an
open
open
seat.
seat.
There
I
you
didn't
go.
nominate somebody.
Have we received some, no, we have received no applications. Okay.
So you have to-
I actually had heard from somebody who was talking about applying.
Yes, Karen.
I want to ask a question, so what would it take for the select board to have to approve planning board's recommendations? To change that in the future for any other subdivisions? Would it take an article?
Well, one of the things we're doing right now is, the ordinance committee is tasked with looking at subdivision ordinance. It was pointed out during the subdivision process that, yeah, but we're only going by the ordinance and that's all the ordinance says. Now, what we've used is, we've used the same ordinance to be extremely rigorous with other subdivisions. And so, I guess because of that, it hadn't occurred to me that the subdivision ordinance was lacking quite that much. But I think that, you know, one of the things we're doing, the ordinance committee has started to take, I believe I saw the minutes, and they said that they have got the subdivision ordinance and they're all gonna read it through and come back with some recommendations. I'm hoping that the select board can work with me. I was not able to attend last night, but I guess you were there.
I was, so I did attend we'll just move on to the ordinance.
Is
Committee.
that next?
And, Bonnie did submit notes, but basically, it does say that in regards to the subdivision, that everyone will be reviewing the subdivision ordinance before the next meeting, and then, we'll be discussing that, in the middle of next month, possible additions or amendments to clarify any
Yeah, and
misunderstandings.
you know, I think that, I think that it's a safe bet that, we should, that if we have concerns doing that, we should bring those up at that time. I wasn't able to, I had every intention of being there last night, but I fell asleep in the chair after eating the supper. It happens to me way too often now.
So, the ordinance committee members were present. We discussed last month's no spray presentation by Gus, Norstein. We learned that Maine DOT managers do the roadside brush. The committee members present agreed to the town should continue its current brush management program and continue to support the work of the DOT. Bonnie's gonna write up language for that. Also, Bonnie was able to reach out to Jesse Poulin, who leads CMP for this area. He had Corey Cummings contact her and explain that they have not been spraying in this town for 15 years.
See, I haven't seen any.
So, really the no spray ordinance, they're not spraying. So we are going to continue.
So we don't
to-
need an ordinance because. we
No
have not
spraying,
sprayed
we're
for a
just gonna
while.
put it in the language that CMP is not currently spraying.
Which,
They're
which
treating their-
of course doesn't mean that they might not decide to start spraying.
Yep.
And if we don't have an ordinance there.
But we are going to notify them of what our thoughts are about spraying. But they've gone to this treated poles, CMP has gone to these poles that are treated. And therefore, are not, they're only spraying, this brush management in Hartford just through DOT, so we want to keep with the current program that they're using now, which is
Could you explain to me how treated poles what?
so CMP says they're treating their poles so that, for rot and growth or whatever,
They look green.
Right, like pressure treated, yeah.
Mhm.
and so therefore they don't need to spray around the poles to keep the,
Brush up and rotting them out.
yep. And then, the last part of these notes from yesterday's meeting was reviewing the subdivision ordinance, which is lengthy. And every committee member will read it before the next meeting, and then we'll see what we find in that. Ordinance and see if there's any changes or tightening up that we might need to do. So those are the notes from the ordinance committee. Next is the fire warden report. Is there anything? No. Terrific. Treasury report. That would be you, Leanne.
We did receive a portion of the deductible from the town office insurance claim back, $753. That's all we're gonna get, so we had to eat $250 from that damage. They said the insurance, the person was driving the vehicle's insurance only paid 75% of the claim. Of the
Excuse me,
total.
how's that?
I don't know,
And there's nothing we can do to appeal this, it's just.
well, our insurance will cover the rest except for
The deductible.
$250.
Hmm.
Can we send a bill to the gentleman who drove into the building for $250?
Okay.
No?
So,
I have a couple other questions regarding the treasurer's report. Last time we had talked, Sumner had not cashed checks that we'd sent. Does that look like it cleared those checks yet?
No, I tried to email them, but the emails got rejected because the town clerk's gone now. I don't know their new email. But I'm gonna wait till next week when they open back up and try to call up again.
Okay. I think as you all people know, Sumner can come over, those residents, and register their vehicles here. And since the town office is closed for the next week too, they'll be doing that, but we send the money back over to Sumner and did not cash those checks. So,
Right, and that was back when they had clerk.
correct.
Um,
And I can't close that bank account until they're.
Can't reconcile.
my understanding is that Susan Remus was going back,
Yes.
but she was gonna be back for a month. To try and straighten things out because Sherry left, but Sherry left and things were, perhaps not entirely in order.
All right,
That's what I heard.
I think he only had a couple
Cindy
applicants.
Norton, who used to be her deputy clerk, was gonna be there for, I think, a week.
let's move forward to the cemetery committee report.
We met here last, the 11th, last Saturday. And we elected a chair, co-chair, and secretary. Just elected chair, Walter Thomas, co-chair, Lorraine Parsons, because the first time we met in a meeting, not a workshop since town meeting. So we did that. Next meeting is January 21st of 2024. We discussed asking the select board to help us out by sending a letter to the principal of the high school in Buckfield and asking for any community service. It doesn't necessarily always have to be just for the cemetery, but for beach or whatever. Because last year we missed out on it. We don't want to miss out on
We missed
possible
out last year.
community service from high school members that are required, and we appreciate that.
Those different projects.
So if we could have a letterhead from the select board asking for any help, I will make sure that we would schedule something, and the committee thought that we might even have a barbecue and then have some hamburgers, hot dogs in the cemetery that we're doing some work in. So if you could do that for us, we'd appreciate it. We did discuss the policy and plots that we need to work on, and we plan on doing that hopefully by the next meeting. We're missing a few members, being Veterans Day in November, so we probably won't have another meeting scheduled during the 150.
Sorry.
But
I
it's
didn't
okay.
get one.
January, hopefully we can get together. I'm gonna try to get together with Chris, just so we can do some measurements at Sparrow, so that we can sit down and work on some plot plan in that area. That's pretty much all I have. Thanks.
I have hard work, I love that you guys are so active.
So one of you will send a letter or draft a letter.
Well, if it's gonna be from the select board, it probably ought to be, it ought to be on town letterhead and
Right.
I can whip something up for you. Send it to you, you look at it, and then I'll send it to Leanne to print it on letterhead.
Right, I just think it'd be great, if you said to have it on, select board letterhead. Asking for help. Cemetery, beach, come down in the spring, whatever it might be.
Well, last year they worked for the food bank.
And they worked at the American Legion Hall in Buckfield as well, but every class is required, so.
yeah,
There might
and
be
there'd
different
be
teachers, that's
like, there's
why.
like one day in the spring. And of course, a lot of times they've worked at the museum over here too.
So different classes, that's why it's just a letter to the principal might send it to every teacher. And request help, and we might get more than one class. Volunteering in different areas.
Especially if we do like a barbecue for them, 'cause they love to eat.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we lost it to the American Legion, is they were gonna do
They
a
had
barbecue for the
about-
kids.
We used to,
Hmm.
show them about clean stone. Make them everlasting effect.
Next is the solid waste committee report, and they don't meet till next week, so. We will not have any report from
Yeah,
them.
I was at the
Yes.
solid waste committee the last time and, I guess it wasn't even a real meeting
They didn't have enough people.
because there were only 2 members plus myself. So we sat in the kitchen and chatted for a spell.
Mhm.
It was not a real meeting.
Okay. Calendar reminders, please tell everyone, we have a rabies clinic this Saturday from 9 to 11. Some great prices to get your animals vaccinated. The town office will be closed on Thanksgiving Day, 11/23. I shared a post today, and the town is posted on, or I think, people of Hartford posted, that Leanne's family's doing a, potluck Thanksgiving dinner here. So anyone interested in attending that or being a part of that, you can find the information on, Facebook. And let's see, solid waste
Or
committee,
show up at lunchtime. on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
yep. Solid waste committee meeting is November 29th, and December 1st taxes are due. And those are the calendar reminders. Any unfinished business? I have nothing listed here. Is there anybody that has any?
No, I didn't.
Well, according to our minutes, we did put off the beach policy for unfinished business, but if it didn't make it to this agenda, I think we might just well leave it on the table for now.
Okay. Open session. Yes, Leanne.
I have a poll permit, if you guys can deal with it. If you don't, we'll put it on the next agenda. Just came in today.
What is it?
A central main power pole.
Oh, pole permit. I thought it was like signing a pole. Not a pole.
Pole as in, like a public opinion survey, kind of,
That's kind of what I thought.
yeah, no.
So where's the pole gonna go, Captain?
Darrington Road,
There's. New property?
we're moving them back.
BIM is gonna be like.
Move poles to
Wait
back
for them
of
to-
right away.
Which is what we wanted, right? Then
Mhm.
Susan, I do have a question, on the concession, I think. Have you ever received money from the walkout from the federal government? What we asked for reimbursement on Darrington,
Not yet,
From FEMA,
Body Road, from Steamer, all of that.
you sign here, right?
not yet. Jeannie is one where we're on vacation right now, but she's waiting for a few longitudes and latitudes and pictures.
Got after him the other day.
Yeah. We're meeting with mitigation tomorrow, MEMA, but we haven't received anything yet.
Probably soon, but it's not.
Hope so.
I hope so. I know there's many other communities that all got washouts, so I know they're backed up.
I mentioned it to him the other day. Go again, I guess. Come on, Ben, let's go.
Okay. All right. Next is new business, and we have a new road name for Maple Way. Is that on the? Where is Maple Way, Leanne?
I think I put a map in your packet. didn't I?
It's right across from Henderson's place. There was a house down there, it used to be Fred Thompson. Lived down there, Fred and Lorraine, but, when they were getting to the grandchildren, and that means there's more than one person, so that's the main road.
Cross from Eddie Henderson.
It used to be,
Cross from Rosemary.
okay, it used to be Eddie's place,
Mm-hmm.
but then it was Thompson's.
You lost it, yep.
Afraid so.
I make a motion that we accept the new road name for Maple Way.
Makes sense, that's where her, she makes her maple syrup down there, so.
I second it.
All in favor? All opposed? Great, approved. All right, we have a town hall use for, asking for December 9th. Celebration of life for Hinckley. Any reason why we shouldn't rent them? Or they're not renting, it's a
They're
public
asking,
event.
they're asking for a no fee, no insurance.
This is what we've done for funerals
What
in the
we've
past.
done.
But the policy says it's you decide, you have to
Yeah,
have promotions.
yeah.
thing.
Is anyone familiar with the Hinckley family?
I think we're all
There's
familiar
no
with them.
office, no state,
Pardon?
there's no state. I'm really.
Excuse me?
She's a Hinckley.
I was in England.
Oh, you are, no kidding. I didn't know it,
All right,
but yes, I think most of us are familiar with the.
do I need to make a motion that,
Mhm.
I'd like to make a motion that we let the Hinckley family use the, hall for the celebration of life
With,
on December 9th with no insurance and no fee.
I second it.
All in favor? Okay. Tax abatement, that was what the executive session was for. Do I need to-
no, we have a couple more coming up, but Mike didn't send them to me in time, so it'll be on the next agenda.
Okay, so we'll move that. Take that right off. Any appointments or resignations? Does anybody here would like to sit on any committee that we have open spots on?
Can I appoint somebody? What? The planning board? They have to make out an application first or what?
It would be nice.
It'd be nice if they did.
Okay.
Okay, this is Lenny. I'm interested in the planning board and I actually did fill out an application, but I forgot to send it.
Oh,
Well, it didn't count if you didn't send it.
Well, do you have to have it or can you? I can read it to you.
you have to send it.
I don't think she has to send it. I mean, it would be good if you turn it in just the same.
I will.
And Kathy,
I
you
mean,
was also for planning board?
No, it was Lenny.
Oh,
Just, it asks you, what qualifies you, and I just mentioned that I served on the, ordinance committee for years, including as the chair, and I was an alternate on the appeals board for a while, and on the budget committee, including as secretary for 2 years, you know. I think I'm a pretty involved townsperson, so I thought that might be a good fit.
Was that good?
So
Make-
what do we need to do? Make it a motion?
Make it a motion, get
I
a
make
second.
a motion that we accept Lenny on the planning board, Lenny Eichman on the planning board,
I would second that.
in favor?
Oh, all in favor? All opposed? I'm abstaining.
Of course you.
Alrighty. Any other appointments or resignations? Terrific. Any training coming up? I know we approved one last time. All good. All right.
And that one's not until December anyway.
Yep, yeah, just making sure we don't have anything new. Is there any correspondence we need to review? I love that. I would like,
And who else is here on Zoom?
Nancy Reed.
sorry for your loss, Nancy.
Hmm,
Just lost a brother.
thank you.
I would like to adjourn this meeting and thank you all for coming.
I know,
Did you
twice.
sign this?
That LCH, that's my name. Yeah,
Oh, over here.
yeah,
Got it.
on the signature line.
Mhm.
Guys,